What I'm going to explain is your contact points on your bike. And before you've clicked this off and you think that I'm just going to talk about elbows up and riding on the balls of your feet, that's part of it, but that's probably only 10% of it. I'm going to explain how everything goes hand in hand to give you the proper riding position. And I'm doing all kinds of stuff with my hands right now for no apparent reason. But okay, so what I'm going to start out with, and this all ties together, right? If your feet are wrong, your knees are wrong, your hips wrong, your butt's wrong, your back's wrong. So it all starts with the roots, right? Being that's the roots of the tree, right? If a tree doesn't have roots, what does it do? It falls over. If a rider doesn't have roots on his bike, what does he do? He rides like crap, basically. All right, and if your hands are wrong, your hands not being as important as your feet, I believe, because controlling with your legs is very important, but your hands are very important as well. And to ride at your max potential, they all have to come together, okay? And back when I started, everybody focused on the arms a lot, right? Everybody was like elbows up, grabbing correctly, but they all go hand in hand. If your feet aren't right, your arms won't be right. If your arms aren't right, your feet probably aren't right. They all go hand in hand, right? So but it all starts with your first two contact points. So the first one I'm going to start with is your hands, okay? And when we have our hands, right, everybody gets a new bike and they're like, oh, this thing's cool, right? And so what they do is they go and they sit on their dirt bike, they take their hands and they go like this. Okay, now look at where my knuckles are pointing. They are pointing up to the sky. And what does this do? This is elbows down, right? You're gonna ride like this. It's gonna force you on the back of your bike and you're gonna ride with your elbows down. And when you're riding with your elbows down, you're basically only using your small forearm muscles to control the bike. And when I say forearm, what does that make you think of? It makes you think of arm pump. So part of arm pump is just incorrect grip, riding with your elbows down. So when we go and we grab on a bike, everybody knows this little diamond grip, or hopefully you know it. We always grab the bars at an angle, okay? We always grab the bars at an angle. And that is so our elbows stay up. And when we grab the bars correctly at an angle, and they call it like a tennis grip, or like you grab a doorknob, right? Think about grabbing a doorknob. We never go straight on and spin it like this, right? We grab it from the side and it's a diagonal grip. There is a diagonal grip. It's not like this, because this forces our elbows down. This sideways grip like this, where you should have a little triangular daylight showing here on your grip. So you should be able, like I have ODI grips on here. If you're gripping correctly, you should be able to read the ODI right here on my grips. So I have a good inch of grip space in this triangular section here on my grips. Same thing with the right hand. You ever heard the saying, it's a twist of the wrist? It's not a twist of the elbow. We don't ride like this, right? And the reason a lot of people ride like that is because they go there by their bike, they have no clue how to ride, their knuckles are pointed up to the sky, and then when they ride, they go ring, ring, or rop, rop, whatever noise your bike makes. But they're using their whole arm. And what does this do to my body? Making sure I didn't turn the mic off. What does this do? So look at my body. If I'm throttling and it's a twist of the wrist, my body is not moving, right? My wrist is just moving, rap, rap. Now let's do a twist of the arm. Okay, whole entire body is moving, head is dipping, shoulders dipping. That is why we don't ride with our elbows down. Another thing too is slide your perches over as far to the inside as you possibly can to get that angle. Now I have mine, so I am right in the sweet spot on the lever right here where the little dip is. If I had them where they were stock, they were butted up against my kill switch, I would be at this angle. I would have been grabbing onto my master cylinder. So in order to use my clutch lever, when it was in the stock position, I had to grab on with basically the goon grip, right? The elbows down, chicken winging it around the whole track, and I had to grab on. So it's very important when you buy a new bike, like whoever's assembling your bike, most of the time they're not pro motocrossers. They are just going to put those perches wherever they want to, and they're going to shove the, one thing against another. They're going to go throttle housing, start button, brake perch, right? They're going to go kill switch, clutch perch, and they're all going to be slammed against one another. As you can see here, there's a lot of space. There's a good 2 inches in between my kill switch, almost 3 inches between my kill switch and my perch. Over here, I got another 2 inches between my start button and my my brake master cylinder. So they're shoved inward, and that is what is going to allow me to stay in this position. Okay, and when our elbows are up, we can ride with our head up and our chest up. When our elbows are down, we're going to tend to hunch. That is a big no-no. So the hands are pretty simple, right? Correct grip on the handlebars, elbows up, back straight, head up, chest up, shove the perches in. You know, all the pressure should be on the outside of your palm right here, not on the inside of your hand. If you look at my hand, I got three big calluses on the outside of my hand. Another one, 3 big calluses on the outside. The inside of my hand is baby smooth because when I'm riding, that inside really isn't holding on to anything. It's all the outside of my hand and these 2 outer fingers and the outside of my palm, which are gripping everything on my motorcycle. What a big problem with people, okay, we got our correct grip. All right, we started up here, started with our elbows up. Okay, a lot of people ride flat-footed, right? And what they do is, you know, without knowing, they will ride flat-footed because they want to go use the brake, put their foot out. Shift over here, put your foot out. Okay, first thing we need to do is we always want to ride on the balls of our feet. And everyone is going to argue that you do not ride on the balls of your feet because you're going to tear your Achilles or you're going to have, you know, injuries from riding on the balls of your feet. Explain to me one sport that you do not ride on the balls of your feet. Did Michael Jordan run around the basketball court playing flat-footed? Does Mahomes run around I'm a Niner fan, so Purdy. Do they run around on flat feet throwing the football? No. There is not a single sport that you play flat-footed. Not even golf, I believe. I'm not a golfer. But everything needs to be done on the balls of your feet. Will we tear our Achilles? I have. Eli Tomac has. I have friends that have. Yeah, maybe at some point, probably. You know, it's a lot. If you're riding dirt bikes your whole life, they might go. So we start on the balls of our feet. That is the first contact point, right? Now, this is a big thing. When we are riding on the balls of our feet, what I see a lot of people do is they ride on the balls of their feet, but they're basically negating the effect of riding on the balls of their feet because the tension is in their knees and their ankles. This is what is going to snap your Achilles and blow your knee out, is riding like this, okay? What is very important is when we are riding, our heels have to be dropped. Any chance we can, we drop our heels. And in order to drop our heels, so this position, what am I missing here? Okay, I'm in this position, knees are forward, but I can't really drop the heels, right? And the reason I can't drop my heels is because I'm refusing to drive my head forward in front of the handlebars. So those two are going to go hand in hand. If you have trouble dropping your heels and riding on the balls of your feet, it's because you're not willing to drive your head past the handlebar line. And I see this a lot with people. They ride on the balls of their feet, but they have this awkward tension in their knees the whole time. Okay, get up, get on the balls of your feet, drive your head forward. Okay, that head, you should be able to look down and be like, hey, I'm number 180, I'm number 68, I'm number whatever. All right, you should be able to look down and see your number plate. Now my heels are dropped as they should be, right? And I'm in almost a 90-degree angle. All right, so but look, once I put that head back, I'm going to fall off the back of the bike with my heels dropped. So in order to drop our heels, head has to drive forward, back has to be straight, legs are almost straight. And that is a missed part that I don't think is explained enough, is if you want to drop your heels and use your legs riding, and when we do drop our heels, what we're doing now is we're putting our weight to the rear tire of the motorcycle. So if you've ever ridden a rutty track and those ruts you feel like they grab you and they take you this way and they take you that way, pretty sure, well, as long as you have your head up and you're looking forward, I bet you anything, it's because you're riding like this. Tensions in the knees, weights in the handlebars. So what that front end is going to do, it's going to want to grab every single rut that you see, and it's going to take you this way and take you that way. But if you have your heels dropped and that head driven forward in front of the number plate, you're going to allow your bike to put that traction on the rear end, keep the front end light, and you could cross rut, do whatever you want, and just drive and plow through those ruts. So that is a big thing. Also, when we are using the controls, okay, one thing that people mess up is, so like, let's say we're coming in the corner up and now we're going to brake. What they do is they take their whole entire foot and they mash the brake pedal. Okay, that's a big no-no. You don't want to do that because now you have no modulation on your brake pedal. In order to have modulation on our brake pedal, what we need to do is we should be foot peg, then brake pedal. So you're on the balls of your feet, foot peg, brake pedal, back. Okay, foot peg, brake pedal, back. And sometimes we do have to sit as we are braking, right? So what I like to do is I go foot peg, brake pedal, I get a feel for it. Okay, I'm braking, braking, braking. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to transition to sit in the corner, and I'm going to try to stay on the ball of my foot with the brake pedal. But as I sit, oftentimes what I do is as I sit, I will go lighter on the brake pedal and kind of take some pressure off of it, because what I have a lot of people do is when they go to sit, and then they use that, they're using the brake pedal to hold them up as they sit, and then they over brake, they stall or fall in the corner. So very important, brake, foot peg first, then brake pedal. And the reason you're using this as an axis to go and modulate your brake pedal to do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60%, however much rear brake you need. We do it easily on the front brake because it's our finger, right? And that is something that I forgot to mention. With your controls, always just use one finger on the brake, okay? We can use index finger, middle finger, sorry, didn't mean to flip everybody off. Index finger, middle finger, or two fingers on the clutch. But the reason being we only want to use one finger on the front brake, modern day bikes are very, very powerful on the front brake. And what I see with people when they use more than one finger, especially kids, I'll see kids that use three fingers because they got little tiny hands, they over brake. So what you'll see is, they'll come flying down a straightaway. They work so hard to come fast out of this corner, built up all this speed, and they'll just grab a handful with three and then and they'll screw the corner up. So I missed that on the first part. Only one finger on the brake. You can use one, two, middle, index on the clutch, whatever, but you can't really overpower the clutch with your hand. You can overpower the brake. So really try to focus on only using one finger. Look at a supercross or an outdoor motocross race and message me if you see somebody using two fingers on the front brake. I have yet to see anybody use two fingers on a front brake that is a professional racer. But go watch the C class, the D class. There's some guys using two fingers, and that's a big mistake. Do not use two fingers on the front brake, only one. All right, and so when we are back to our feet here, when we're using the feet, we got our heels dropped, head driven forward. We move, should be foot peg, then brake. Foot peg, then brake. Same thing, shifting on the other side, real easy. Just move your foot, shift, and then go back to the balls of your feet. So every motion should be touch the brake, come back, touch the brake, come back. All right, we got our heels dropped, we got our head driven forward, got our elbows up, head up, and that's basically it. So when we got our two contact points, think about those. If you are screwing those up somehow when you are riding, it's going to be a long, hard road for you to get faster. So really focus on your contact points, your proper grip on your handlebars, using one finger on the front brake, using the foot peg as an axis for you to modulate and use the rear brake correctly, drive that head forward, and that'll allow you to drop those heels. And I bet you a lot of your guys' problems about, I ride on the balls of my feet, but I feel like I'm out of control. I feel like I lose the front end everywhere. Take some pictures or have a buddy take some pictures of yourself, and I guarantee you your head's not far enough forward. Watch videos of James Stewart back in the day, Jet Lawrence, any of these guys, and watch how far forward their heads are and compare your pictures to theirs. Guarantee you're probably a foot or two back compared to those guys. So really try to focus on that stuff. If your two contact points are off, you're going to be off on the motocross track.